Folks, 2020 has been a year. Not a great one for a lot of people out there.
Most people.
Most people out there. In terms of our channel, though, I have to say, all things considered, we are very humbled and thankful for all the things that you have done for us as a fan base over this year. So now that we're going into 2021, new things on the horizon. Smiles, everyone. Let's do this. Let's take on this year. We are going to talk to you about some of the changes that we want to make with our channel moving forward and how we aim to improve the content that we bring to you and how you can be incorporated into that and how we continue to grow and grow and grow because of you guys and how we want to continue to grow and grow and grow and take this as far as it can go. So we're going to talk to you guys about 2021 and some of the upcoming things that we have going on. But anyway, Isaiah, I know this was something that you were pitching to me is like we should definitely update the fans, what's going on and everything like that. And I know you had a couple ideas. What do you got?
So one of the things that we really going forward want to emphasize and focus on is making different kinds of content. So anybody who has followed our channel and has hopped on in the last, let's say, 6 months, will know that we went pretty hard into webtoons, like really, really hard. And to be fair, it worked. I mean, a lot of, I will point at obviously Tower of God specifically, but a lot of that webtoon coverage is where a huge bump in our subscriber base in our fans came from. And we are very, very thankful of that. But we are running the risk of burnout as far as webtoon content, of just covering webtoon content. And first and foremost, this has been and will always be an anime channel, right? So we want to talk about some anime and maybe even manga that we really like or want to get into. So we want to prioritize covering a few different things or a lot. We want a lot more variety in the things we cover. So this is obviously Tower God's not going anywhere. If there are really great webtoons that we're reading, whatever, that's not going. This isn't like we don't like webtoons anymore as much as we also really like anime and manga and all the other kinds of stuff that we started this channel on. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we also want to actually experiment with different kinds of content. And so one of the things that we were talking about is, making shorter form content. It's, again, no surprise if you click through our channel that a lot of our content is like a minimum of like 30 minutes in length.
Really long.
Yeah, very, very long. So, and it's not super conducive to people getting new eyes on the channel and new people watching us. So we want to experiment with making shorter kinds of videos. People who have been watching us, you'll know that like with the ranking videos, that's something that we have. That's one thing on the channel that we're experimenting with in terms of length. But we want to do more. We think that like having a variety of videos that aren't all 20 to 30 minutes at the minimum is a good way to like get new people who aren't into that kind of content, a leg up and like show them who we are.
Yeah, for sure. I think the main strategy here is expanding upon the growth that we've had. In 2020, we were very fortunate, as Isaiah had mentioned, to stumble upon Tower of God, which we were just like, what's out right now? And we looked at this and here we are, right? And there's definitely, Tower of God has been the bulk, but there have been other things too. I would say reaction videos have definitely helped in terms of sub count. Sure. Attack on Titan as of recently has been a big thing, etc. But definitely now that we've got a little bit of a ball rolling, especially into the new year and smashing every goal that we had for 2020, kind of keeping that momentum going forward. So that's not to say in any way, shape, or form that we have any sort of blatant disregard for the pre-existing fans that we had here. And we are more than humbled and appreciative for all the help that you've given us. But like Isaiah said, kind of experimenting with ways to get some new people in on the community and expand our reach, to grow this channel to what we know it could be. So we want to introduce you guys to some potential new friends, as we go forward and have them hop on for all the different sorts of things that we do. So obviously doubling down on the things that work, but also leaving room for a lot of play and experimentation and stuff like that. So going into 2021, we definitely want to grow this channel in every way, shape, and form. My initial goal, I've written on like my whiteboard at home, I have, like goals and whatever. And at first I was like, all right, 10,000, right? But I'm dead serious. And I told these guys before, I 10X that. And I made 100,000. And honestly, at first I was like, all right, I'm just doing that to like psych myself into it like 10 times. But I do genuinely think if we play our cards right and we keep keep getting the support of all these fantastic people, because we have some really great fans. We have some people that are really diehard dedicated to our channel, like true fans. It's not just like passing through. You see a lot of channels like that, whether it be reaction channels solely or ones that make, whatever sort of content, and they have these blown up numbers, but they're not like, you're not seeing a lot of people stick, right? They're not, expanding that community outreach. And I feel like for as small as we are, in the grand scheme of things, we have a great, solid group of people that support us. And I think if we can continue that, the sky's the limit. I genuinely do think there are channels that do it, and I think the pace we're going, and if we capitalize on that and get the ball rolling even farther and even larger, that we could totally attain that goal. So the name of the game right now is growth, for sure, when it comes to that, sort of thing.
Yeah, but. And bringing, that last part into it, the other thing that we want to prioritize or like look differently at is the fans we already have, right? So like Ian was just saying, we have a absolutely amazing group of fans that have already latched onto us, and that we've had so much fun interacting with in our Discord and et cetera in the past couple months. And we want to do more of that. We want to look to new ways to interact with you guys, look for, one of the things that we started in our community Discord is viewing parties, which have been a ton of fun. We watched Promised Neverland recently. We actually did like a whole marathon of the whole first season, because the second season's coming out. Get hype. And we did, before that, we watched the first couple of episodes of FMA Brotherhood. And it's been really fun. It's really cool to interact with that. We have like a couple of different games and stuff in the Discord. It's really been fun getting to know a lot of the people that watch our content, on a much more personal level. And so, this is sort of like a call out, like if anybody has any ideas, any things they want to see implemented into either the channel, the Discord, maybe even our Patreon, what have you. Because that's the other thing. We have seen a pretty nice bump in Patreon subscriptions, whether there are people who weren't there before and just hopped on, whether the people who were there before and they were in like a lower tier, but they just bumped up to a higher tier. So obviously, thank you. That means like that is absolutely amazing, and we're very humbled by that. But B, the Patreon, like the channel, is something that we are improving and growing as we go. So if there are things that we can do to, tweak the Patreon and make it a much more rewarding thing for both of us, or again, if anybody has any ideas, please let us know, because that's our main thing right now. Like, repeated it a bunch of times, but is growth. We want this channel to grow in terms of numbers, in terms of people who watch it, but we also want to really grow the bonds and the relationships we've already established with the people that we already know.
Yeah, for sure. I did want to address reaction videos in that too, because in terms of improvement and growth, we have been talking about experimenting with different ways of doing reaction videos. That's something that we have, maybe this is the wrong term, but struggled with, in a sense that when we first made this channel, we had no clue what to do in terms of like how not to get striked, etc. And we've come a long way, I would say. We've definitely hit our road bumps over the year in those terms, just out of ignorance. But I think we've come a long way from where we started, and that is something that has heavily impacted our channel in terms of subs. I'd be turning a blind eye to say that it wasn't, and it's something that we obviously want to continue doing. As of right now, at the time of recording this video, without getting too much into it, we still have one strike. We were able to get one removed. And for anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, we'll be giving updates to the whole Webtoon situation as it comes. But for those of you who are new here, like, what are you talking about, Webtoon? I just came to your channel. This is the first video I watched. Long story short, we have one strike. We have a second channel, AOA Reactions. We still want to implement that channel, but we want to utilize it, at least right now, and this is open to change, for things that are either A, solo endeavors, or B, things that we might not be actively covering in terms of a conversational piece afterwards. So if Isaiah just, finally decides to watch Hunter x Hunter, get him to watch Hunter x Hunter, like putting that on there, we're not going to have an in-depth analysis every single time, something he can talk about. But if we're, talking about Attack on Titan or something that we have an in-depth analysis on after the fact, or like maybe Promised Neverland or something like that, we want to try, if possible, to have the reaction and the discussion coincide with one another and have it accessible on both ends. So definitely stay tuned for that. And that's how we want to work that. And again, this could change in the future, but just letting you know where our head's at. And another thing that we were just talking about today is YouTube Shorts. So for anyone that is familiar, you might not be because this is a relatively new thing. I just found out about this not even a couple days ago. And YouTube has basically implemented this like TikTok style format where you could take videos with your phone in a vertical fashion, and they are 60 seconds or less, and you post them on your channel, and YouTube will classify it as a short, which will then put it in its algorithm as a short, so people wanting to watch shorts can watch them. But it's something that we were thinking of experimenting with, maybe making a playlist for it if it's something that takes off, and doing like little short, super short forms of content, you know, just going and asking like quick questions, or maybe taking a blooper or a clip, a very short clip from a podcast discussion or something like that and putting it there. So my point in saying all this is that we want to get you guys involved in this conversation because, again, you guys have been the loyal fans that have stuck here with us. And while we can't implement every single idea, it does help to get some sort of feedback from you guys in terms of what you'd like to see, what you wouldn't, but just keeping in mind that our goal is growth at the end of the day. So anything, you know, that is recommended feedback, et cetera, we want to try and utilize that to get more people on board with us and you guys so that we could just keep expanding the community because we want to take this as far as we possibly can.
Yeah. And then one of the other things that we want to discuss is Webtoons, where they stand. Now, as far as like the updates for Cameso and stuff, that'll be its own separate thing. We'll have those updates come out at a later time. But just talking about, again, in terms of how that's going to relay on the channel. Like I said before, you know, the stuff that we are covering now isn't going anywhere. So obviously we're still going to be covering Tower of God. We're still reading Solo Leveling as of now. And, you know, who knows if we pick up like something else that we really vibe with, we'll pick it up. But like, you know, all the Tower of God content, and I'd single out Tower of God because that's the main one here, I would say. The discussion videos that are of the chapters that we read, the blog post videos, which are like little in-depth tidbits to said chapters that we read, and any and everything else that we do around Tower, all of that stuff is staying. The idea of this content shift, so to speak, isn't really about anything going away. It's actually just about more stuff being added on to the plate. So I just want to read, because I don't want anybody who did sign on here for Tower of God or Webtoon, you know, that's not, you know, this wasn't like, we got to get rid of that stuff.
No way.
We gotta, you know,
no way.
You know, if any indication, Tower of God is a big part of this channel and will always be. We kind of almost singularly have it to thank for where we are right now.
It's yeah.
So yeah, you know, that we love that, and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Bottom line is that actions speak louder than words when it comes to this sort of thing. And Tower of God has shown, among other particular webtoons, i.e. Solo Leveling, God of High School, maybe, you know, other things that we cover, Noblesse to an extent, what you guys really want to see. We can get 1,000,001 recommendations, and we do, you know, for every which webtoon or anime or whatever the case might be. People love to see us react and talk about the things that they enjoy. It's totally normal. But at the end of the day, like I said, again, growth is the number one thing here. So we have to, this is something we've gotten better with towards the end of the year here, but being a little more strict with what we keep following, especially if it's not performing the way we would like it to. And that comes down to the actions of everyone that is watching. Again, growth being the number one thing. We have to be very careful with how we utilize our time, considering we're in a really weird situation, but Isaiah and I in particular have been, in a weird roundabout way, kind of lucky in the sense that we've been able to devote the amount of time we have been able to this endeavor. If the COVID pandemic and everything didn't happen again, and it's terrible, and but we honestly wouldn't been able to put in the time that we have. Like, that's just the cold hard truth. So we want to utilize this to the best of our ability. And, you know, that's why we're posting daily. We're doing all these things, but we want to make sure now, especially moving into the new year, and then we've got the ball rolling a little, that we're not just putting out garbage for the sake of putting out garbage, that it's all relevant content that brings value to the viewer. And also it's content that we know that you guys want to watch. And like I said, the only way we really know that is by looking at the numbers, what's working, what's not, what's getting views, what's getting comments, what's getting likes, etc. So if it if there is something that you particularly enjoy, although I encourage you to let us know these things in feedback, you could comment them, feel free, but be an active participant in the content when we produce it. That way you are one of many now that we know really genuinely want to see this sort of content, so we don't have to, unfortunately, make way for something else that might be doing a little bit better, you know, in those regards. So,
Yep.
yeah. So anyway, I think that's everything, right? Moving forward to the new year, we're really excited, man. We're hoping to hit it with a bang, you know, just dive right in and keep this ball rolling, because it's been really awesome to see this channel grow and all the people that have come on board, like I said. And we have nothing but thanks for all of the people that have been longstanding fans of ours, and huge shout out to the people that have been with us since like before we hit 100 subs mark, which, by the way, has not even been a full year since that happened. So thank you so much for all of those people. You know who you are, but also a huge shout out to anyone that's just been a part of this channel and takes an active participation in it. It really goes a long way, and we are incredibly appreciative, and we don't want to take that for granted whatsoever at any point. So we hope that you'll stay with us for this journey that we call 2021. May the year be full of blessings and growth and all new things and new friends and connections being made. And, you know, 100,000 subs. Let's get it. Let's get it. I'm not kidding. Let's go, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. But anyway, folks, that's all we got for you today. Thank you for watching the video. We can't wait to get into this new year. But until next time, we'll catch you on the flip. Peace.
Peace.